And welcome back to part 14, I presume. This is StarCraft 2, the visual novel. It's been a really bad opening. And welcome back to another Pong Plays SU2V, and I'm your host, sensei-pong. And this is presumably part 13 or 14, I'm not even really sure at this point. Anywho, either way, let's jump on in. We're confronted by Jet and Bolt. Bolt followed Jet into the Golden Zone fire, which still sounds like some kind of STD to me, and I can't get over that. It's going to bother me this entire Let's Play. Golden Zone fire, that just sounds terrible. Absolutely horrid. Oh, okay, yeah, this went from like G to PG. But there's been cursing in this entire Let's Play, so you know what? Because that's what's being said on the visual novel. So, you know. Some dirty jokes too, so, you know, whatever. This is one of those PG-13 Let's Plays. So let's put up that, parental advisory right now. 13 episodes in. Parental advisory, kids. Sensei-pong tends to be friendly, but now, just for this episode, you know, for this series, I fail as a YouTuber. Having full control over my content. I suppose that's what... Okay. There you go. Microphone. I suppose that's what I get for playing 80% of my stuff blind, but whatever. Before I can form a question at Bolt's presence, both he and Jet are standing before us. She shoots an annoyed glance at him before speaking. He insisted on speaking with you before he could agree to play. Bolt lifts his chin at me, savoring the moment. I need something from him, a show match, and he's well aware of the power it grants him. So, Mock, still desperate to make a name for yourself? I match his aloof expression with a hard one, determined to show that he can't intimidate me. Our sponsor needs a demonstration on the team's potential. It's not about me. Don't kid yourself, this is all about you. I'd be facing Jet, Akel, or one of your wannabe dishwashers you managed to clown into signing if it wasn't. Do you think I haven't read what they're saying online? I draw in sharp breath to Bolt's amusement. He shakes out his wrist and offers a shrug. I normally have better things to do than play out a show match in a lesser game, but hey, you've caught me at a good time. My next Brood War match isn't for a few weeks. Got just enough time to brush up on my SC2 and ship you back across the Pacific. Do you know that my team manager won't even let me play Star 2 and Shock Team House? They say it's distracting to get to the other players. I reach for another calming breath, but find myself choking on rage instead. It's that smile of his. What, you came here just to talk some trash? Quit wasting my time and accept the match. I accept. I'll do you one better than you'll do me. Catch. Bolt pulls something out of his pocket and tosses it at me. My reflexes don't fail me, and I snag the small black object in midair. When I open my hand, I find a thumb drive. What? 50 replays. Study them all you like. You have no excuse when you lose. By the way, Jet, let me give you a tip. Next time you go behind my back for replays, don't try to get them from someone that shares my feelings on your opportunist bullshit. Your foreigner mascot is lucky that I'm feeling generous. With an infuriating air of superiority, Bolt turns to leave. My teammates visibly share my frustration, but none of them rush to my defense. Maybe it's for a good reason. I can't keep relying on Jet or Akel to bail me out of trouble. Beating Bolt isn't their responsibility, it's mine. Hey, Bolt. He turns, mild surprise showing on his face when I flick the thumb drive out of my hand and at his feet. I won't lose to you again. Remember it. Tell yourself that. He shows his teeth in a smirk and crushes the flash drive under his heel. Just like you told yourself and you could qualify for VSL. Bum bum. Bits of plastic in my... You caught me off guard. It was just like boom boom, like straight up in your face. That was almost a jump scare if it wasn't kind of funny. Bits of plastic and metal. This is like a 80s some 80s sports movie or something. This almost feels like The Karate Kid, but that's a sports movie. I'd consider that a sports movie. It's got the same similar story arcs. You know what I mean? It's like kid from nowhere or guy on like hard times and has to match up against somebody and then they lose the first time, so they go in the second time and boom, they win. That's like the story structure of every Mighty Ducks movie. Quack, quack, quack. Bits of plastic and metal are all that remains of the USB when he lifts his foot and continues on his way out. The tension remains long after Bolt's departure. Finally, Jet enters my personal space, eyes sharp and locked with mine. Why'd you do that? We need his replays. Mikkel steps forward and places hands on Jet's shoulder. Bolt was trying to get into Mock's head. You know that, Jet. It was the right call. Dang, you really didn't feel like leaning over to pick it up, huh? Those things are like 10,000 won. The quip earns him a perplexed stare from Mikkel and Jet. I'm too distracted to even react. Give me a moment. Whatever, Mock. If you're going to be a showman, save it for when you gain some... when it'll gain you some fans. That gives me an idea for the ceremony after you beat this guy. Get like 10 flash drives and... Hey, Stunt, I've got a better idea for the ceremony. We sign a contract with Enoch and move into our team house. How's that sound? That's not as funny as what I had in mind. I want to hear Stunt's idea. That could have been fun. Enough banter. Get back to practicing. Can we take a break or something? I need a minute. We don't have a minute, especially without replays. Practice now. I quietly follow Stunt's lead back towards the PCs. Kel and Jet move in and take their seats behind us. From the top, in no rush, is Stunt. I have absolutely no clue how anyone can practice for more than 10 hours a day. My wrists ache, my eyes hurt, my subconscious won't consider anything but until compositions and attack timings. I can't get Bolt's stupid smirk out of my head. Worse still, with Jet forcing Stunt to play standard, our practice wasn't productive at all. She didn't seem happy with me when she left to meet with the producers at the VSL studio. But after so many games, it becomes impossible for me to focus. What else are we supposed to do? Raven doesn't seem like she's in practice for any race but Terran. Do I even have a chance against Bolt? Did I ever in the first place? Dude, how does anyone Marco? Oh, macro. It's boring, exhausting. It makes you consider a zillion variables. Economy management is so stupid. You just described what StarCraft is supposed to be, minus the boring part. Well, I don't like it. I'm at my best when I can focus microing. Macro, not micro. Who says I should have it play a game past the 10-minute mark? No one, as long as you're okay with an awful win rate. With practice done for the day, I agree to join a Kellen Stunt for dinner while Jet deals with the logistics and setup for the match. I'm led down a smoky side street where greasy and fragrant smells mingle. My experience with street food so far hasn't been great, but I trust the judgment of Stunt and Kel. Row after row of stalls are thick with customers clamoring for a hot meal. The three of us browse the various offerings before Stunt insists on one in particular. Do you like, dorA.thI. Do you like dorA.thI, Mac? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not Korean. I don't know these things. I just know their sushi is better than Japan's. Oh, snap. Did I say that? It's okay, I'm half Japanese, it doesn't matter. I like both, I just like sushi. But Korean sushi has like so many sauces. It's like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's flavorful. I may have gained a fan, I may have lost a fan because of that. No difference in my subscriber counts. Hurrah! Huzzah! Sure, yeah, whatever's fine. The single cook manning the stall cleaves through customer orders faster than I think possible. It isn't long before we're walking away from the stall, paper-wrapped pancake in hand. Oh, it's one of those kind of thingies. I think I know what that is. Yeah, those things are good. We settled for the seat on the curb, far enough away from the foot traffic to avoid being trampled. Riva's gonna run into trouble with Jet if she doesn't show at Golden Zone Fire again this week. She can only help Mock so much. Besides, it's not like she can skip out on practice at the team house. Have you ever been inside a team house stunt? The protest forces down his food with a thump to his chest. No, but I've seen pictures. It's an informal setting. It isn't hard to sleep in or slack off, but the type of people that do that usually don't become pro gamers, or at least don't last long as one. We still don't have any subs. Isn't that going to be a problem? Let's worry about one thing at a time. There won't be much need for subs if we don't do our best this week. Still, the team is tiny, 5 people including management. Jet wasn't kidding when she said she wanted a lean team. The sudden team Goshuan is almost enough to make me smile. The sudden thought of a team Goshuan is almost enough to make me smile. There we go, I said it correctly. Yo, Cal, what'd you do with your prize money from Brood War? That's kind of a personal question, isn't it? I don't mind answering. Spent about half of it on general living expenses and stuff for my family. The rest I've got saved. Lame, what's the point of winnings if you don't spend them? I've earned 40 million won or so, not counting salary. That may sound like a lot, but it's easy to go through if you aren't responsible. Deaf to the sense that Cal is trying to talk into him, Stunt stares off into space with stars in his eyes. If I won the VSL Grand Final, I'd buy a car, a house, a new PC. He continues rattling off a list of dozens superfluous objects in a way that only someone who has lived without worrying about paying the rent can. Akel and I take the chance to eat without interruption. Give me one moment, my computer's giving me issues. Jet still got like 100 million won from the VSL championship, yeah? That plus some, probably. Why? I wonder if I can convince her to trick out the team house. Feel free to ask, just make sure I'm there for a reaction. What about you, Mock? What would you do with your big winnings? I don't know, save it or something. And I thought that only the chicks on our team were boring. Don't forget that all the time you spend climbing StarCraft's ladder, someone else spends climbing the corporate ladder. If you're only into esports for the money, you get a real job. Psh, it's no big deal. After I make it big on the next protest bonjour, I'll just get a job as a coach or a team owner. I've got it all planned out. There's no convincing Stunt at this rate. Not that I can blame him. I wasn't any more responsible when I was his age. With a final bite, what's left of my dorA.thI is little more than grease on a napkin. I'm joined by my teammates when I move to toss away the trash. Heading home, Mock? Yeah, gonna ladder for a bit then sleep. Gotcha. I'll be at the cafe by 10. Don't be late. Not like we have anything better to do. The 3 of us turn separate ways out of the alley. I endure the walk back to my apartment in silence. Dum dum bum ba dum ba dum bum 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 bum. I stare at my cell phone, the light coming from its screen bright enough to make my eyes glaze. Like a donut. And then it goes dark, and I slide my thumb over the screen to wake it. I repeated this ritual 4 times now. My head falls back against my chair and I close my eyes. Why do I feel like this? It's been almost 2 weeks since I last spoke to my parents. Admittedly, I have been busy with StarCraft since I met Kel and Jet, and I'm still overdue for a call. My finger hovers over the contact number. Before it can fall in to dial them, the phone escapes my hand and falls back onto the desk. Does it really matter? I don't have much to say. Hi, Mom. Is Dad there? Is everything fine? No, I'm not dead. No, I haven't given up yet. Telling them about the team might be for nothing. I'll pretend to share my happiness in a victory. There's always an underlying cynicism to every congratulation from them. A win isn't a win. It's another crumb leading me to chase a pointless esports dream and away from the life they think I should be leading. It feels wrong to be cross with them. They raised me, paid for my existence. I'd be an ingrate to ask for more. And yet, I do. I want them to accept my goals for what they are. I hope for more than I'll grow out of StarCraft. It's the same with my friends from high school. They pretend not to, but I know that they look down on me. It's a video game. Why do you care so much? Come on, man. It's time you grew out of this. When is it right to give up on a dream? How many failures does it take before you say, alright, I'm done trying. I'll just take a job at my family business. If I lose to Bolt, should I quit StarCraft? Would it be nothing but pride to continue on? Even if I win, what then? What if the team does poorly? What if the team does well, but I hold them back? While StarCraft 2 even lasts as long as Brood War? What if there isn't prize money left in the scene in a year from now? What if I start to hate the game? It's wrong to think this way before such high-stakes match, but I can't help it. I know what matters. I know what I have to do. Why can't I just do it? I carry myself onto the bed and bury my face in my pillow. Somehow, I think I'm finally starting to understand what Mr. Yon was saying. Oh, bum bum bum. I want my soda, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, you didn't even practice. What the fudge, man? Really? You failed me. I'm awake. I've been awake, actually, but I don't feel like getting up. I tell myself for the 3rd time, but I don't. We have to practice. I don't feel like practicing. Dude, get up. The team is waiting for you. I just want to lie here, though. Can I just do that? No. I'm probably sick from the street food. I'm just going to lie here until I feel better. You aren't sick. Get up. Not now. Soon, though. Don't you want to beat Bolt? That guy is a total prick. If you don't practice, he'll beat you and you'll feel terrible. I already feel terrible, though. I'm just going to lay here. Get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Ah! Did the game crash? Oh, okay, never mind. There's a knocking at the door. Bum, 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 ba-dum. The sound of repeated, unrelenting knocks wakes me. I glance at my phone, answers my immediate question. It's 2 p.m. I shamble my way to the door and glance at the peephole into the hallway. It's Jet. She doesn't look happy. I turn the knob and crack the door open, offering no resistance when she forces the rest of the way open. She glances over me, not bothering to yell the disgust in her expression. What are you doing? The entire team has been waiting for you to show up. Her tone demands an answer, and I rush to oblige it with an excuse. I don't feel well. You look fine. Get dressed and get your ass to Golden Zone Fire. I run a hand through my matted hair and glance away. I'm serious. I feel awful. I don't... Jet's palm cracks against the left side of my face. I call out in a mixture of pain and shock and try to step back. Instead, Jet catches me by my shirt and pulls me forward, visibly restraining herself from bringing the back of her hand across my other cheek. Hey! I grasp for breath and bring a hand to where she struck me. Her eyes, hard and determined, refuse to leave mine. What Why did you do that? Why are you here, Mock? Why did you come to Korea? What? To play StarCraft. You already know the answer. No, you didn't. You have some natural talent for StarCraft, but you didn't come here to make use of it. What on earth is she talking about? I feel my voice harden in my throat when I argue back. You just hit me for nothing. I came to Korea because I want to play in the VSL, because I want to be a champion. And you can't drag your sorry ass out of bed to prep for the show match that the entire team is counting on you to win. Stop lying to yourself, or at the very least, stop lying to me. I put a lot of trust in you, Mock. I honestly hope that you'd prove you have what it takes to make something of yourself. But you clearly don't. You quit when it's hard, and your minor accomplishments help fuel the lie that you're capable of something great without putting in the work. The curiosity in Jet's eyes dies as she relinquishes her vice on my undershirt. I stumble back, clutching on the wall to keep from falling over. You have less than a week to pretend that you care about what happens to yourself and to this team. You can't do that for your own sake, then do it for ours. After 10 long, sobering seconds of unanswered silence, she turns, stalks into the hallway, and slams the door. The wall is rough against my side, and I slide down and onto the floor. Really? Hold on. Am I just gonna quit? Is my character just really gonna quit after all this? Seriously? Not even give it a shot? You can't... Oh, we gotta keep playing. It's not long before I'm tired of replaying my stale reasoning. My apartment's view of Seoul skyline offers a moment's relief. It makes a decision a little bit easier. One way or another, I'm not coming home. The looks of disdain, the fake reassurances, it's all that left for me once I step on that plane and admit that I'm a failure. If I can't swing a single match victory with 4 other people carrying me, what can I possibly hope to accomplish with the rest of my life? I let out a long breath. I'm tired, and even though I wouldn't mind falling asleep against this wall, I find myself rising to my feet. Is it narcissism or masochism? It would be so much easier for me to accept that I was never cut out for this in the first place. I really just can't quit, huh? This is such a joke. At least go in there and fall in burning flames. That's what you gotta do. Practice your heart out and lose. Go Mars Chime sings up, because at least you've tried. As I push my way into the store, snow white hair and wrinkly forehead perk up from behind the counter as I stand in the doorway of the store. Mr. Yon. Come for another round to go, Mock, or just here to take your drinks and scram? It isn't until he gets a good look at me that the smile drops off his face. Something the matter? Did you play Go professionally? He nods once, so I continue. Why did you play? What kept you going? How did you stop yourself from quitting? A little philosophical, don't you think? Take a breath, Mock. What's going on? At first I try to explain vaguely as I can, but as Mr. Yon nods along, allowing me to ramble uninterrupted, I find myself divulging more and more details. Excuse me. I stop only when it comes to time to explain my encounter with Jet this afternoon and the evening I spent sitting in my apartment. You're right. I go to whatever lengths I can to avoid pain, and I've done it all my life. StarCraft is the only thing I've been decent at, and I can't commit to it because I'm afraid to fail. I'll fail. It's not just that, I can't quit either. My biggest fear of all is admitting to myself that I'm not good enough. I want to believe that as long as I try, I'm not worthless. I ran away to South Korea with the stupid idea that I can make something of myself, like the world owed me something just for showing up. I'm just tired. I don't want to run anymore. Despite my ragged voice and slumped shoulders, Mr. Yon finds himself with a nonchalant smile. Then don't. It's much easier to walk. A slight chuckle escapes him. When it ends, he gestures past me to his store. Mock, I'm closing in on 70 and work at the convenience store at 2 in the morning. Some would call that failure, but I don't regret these days. I spent studying and competing in Go. If we live without pursuing our passions, what good is living at all? Prizes, fame, status, these things are achieved by few, but every competitor must play for the love of the game and the pride of well-earned victory. Competition is a noble thing. It drives us to improve, innovate, and test the limits of who we are and what we can do. It took humans into space. We wouldn't seek reason to keep it if you didn't already know there's a value in that. I leaned onto the counter, separating us, the tension in my chest softening. I do, and you're right, but I can't stop worrying that it won't be worth it in the end, or that even if I try my best, I'll fail. You might not achieve everything you set out to, even if you work as hard as you can. No success worth chasing is ever guaranteed. But do you want to spend the rest of your life wondering what you are capable of? My own answer to that was no. I glance away and rake my hand through my hair. There's no way that I've come this far only to give up now. When I straighten up, he beams a pleased smile at me. Now then, if I were you, I would head home and get some rest. You've got a match to prepare for, after all. I find myself at an utter loss of words. Gratitude forms and falls apart between my lips a handful of times before I simply settle for a deep bow. Thank you, Mr. Yon. You're welcome, Mock. By the way, next time you come by for an old man's wisdom, you have to buy something first. For the first time today, I catch myself smiling. Okay, deal. Just then, a customer pushes open the door to the store. Though there wasn't much else I had to say, now is probably an appropriate time to depart. As I turn to leave, Mr. Yon lifts his fist at me. Work hard. I raise mine to match his. I will. Bum ba dum bum bum bum. And actually with that, that's a nice little turn point right there. I'm going to say this is a decent point to cut off for the moment until we see what happens. We had a little fall from grace there for a moment. Like any good sports story, I suppose. You always got to have that fall from grace and people questioning what they're doing with their lives. But, you know. And then the little, well, you know, if you don't try now and try your hardest now, you're going to be regretting your entire life, wondering, why did I give up that moment? You know, this is actually a good, nice little life lesson for anybody out there. It doesn't matter what you're doing in your life. This can really apply to anything, whether it be business, whether it be, you know, artistic or competitive. And competitive can be anything from like sports to like games or, you know, whatever that you can really take seriously. Or even a YouTube channel, I suppose, can be classified under that too. You know, you don't know what's in store for you unless you actually start trying, and that's always, I've always kind of lived by that. And in the past couple years, I've actually been striving to do more with my life because of those sorts of matters, and I wasn't able to necessarily do some advice that I couldn't really turn down, that I'd just, you know, shut up and get into position for certain things. But, you know, it's because if you do succeed, there's obvious success depending on what you're trying to get into, and it's good for the people around you because then they can draw inspiration from you if you do succeed. You know, despite what kind of troubles you may be going through in your life. They can draw inspiration and work harder and, you know, support you. You could support them. Just, it doesn't, I'm not saying support like financial, I'm talking about just emotionally, but just in general. But this was filled with some nice, you know, moral life lessons this episode, and I think this is actually a good point because of it to cut off. Until next time, see what happens here on SC2VN. I'm trying to think of a way to wrap this up, and I can't. Whatever. Sensei-pong signing out. Bye.